This is part 3 of Angelina. We left off speaking about Angelina having a job at Bamberger's department store. It was at 165 Halsey Street and was a 35-minute walk from their home on Littleton Avenue. She was 14 now, and that's the age at that time that girls would quit school and get a job to help their families. It was an amazing store, and here's one example. When the weather was bad, they would drop deliveries by airplane via parachute. Anyway, back at home, life went on, and everyone found their niche in life. Angelina worked for 10 years in Bamberger's, which she left when she was 24 years old to become a manicurist. Mama Conchetta became ill in 1939 and unfortunately passed away. Gracia and Mary got married. Their sister Josephine had unfortunately had tuberculosis and she passed away. There were no antibiotics at that time, so infections were usually lethal. So it was only Angelina, because her other sisters were married, and her father and several brothers. It was a lot of work, cooking, cleaning, washing clothes, and being bossed around by a bunch of men. So instead, I believe this caused her to get married. And it was to a guy who was a bartender, and on the side, he was a boxer. It was 1940. He got drafted then into the Army, and she was glad because, unfortunately, he was rough with her, being a boxer. And her brother, the piano player, an Army veteran, actually warned him to cut it out. Eventually, in 1942, they were separated, and then finally they were divorced in 1944. Angelina then moved to Miami Beach. At that time, it was the capital of vacations of the world. And she was living in a building, and she was very happy down there. And there was this handyman in the apartment building who admired her, and they started dating. After a few months, he proposed on Valentine's Day in 1952, and they married a few days later. He was 54 and she was 41. They actually called him the man with the amazing hands, because he could fix anything. Anyway, they traveled on their honeymoon to Mexico and California. They were very happy. Back home in Miami Beach, they frequented the beach and various restaurants. And Colegero, the very successful brother, gave them a big wedding party in a nightclub. Salvatore, her father, was glad that she had finally married again. Maybe she would have children. She had always wanted children, but her monthly visitor had stopped years earlier. A few weeks after the marriage, Angelina became ill. They thought it was some kind of virus. No matter what she ate, she couldn't keep it down. Her husband's nickname was Cap, for captain, because he loved boating, he loved the water, the beach. And he had a part-time job repairing engines about 2 blocks from their apartment. And he was a special mechanic when he was in the Army during World War I. Anyway, a friend told him that he should take Angelina to a doctor because her upset stomach and other symptoms, they were just lasting too long. So it was great living on West Avenue in South Beach. You could walk anywhere, so they walked to a doctor's office nearby. It didn't take the doctor long to find out what was wrong. She was pregnant. The captain was shocked, since menstruation had stopped years ago. The doctor explained that it happens quite frequently. Angelina felt like it was a miracle, but the captain was in a frequent bad mood. One day he said that they should take a boat trip to Havana. She thought it would make her seasick, especially now. He explained that he would like her to have an abortion, and there, abortions were legal. She didn't answer him. The next day, she visited her nephew's wife. Her nephew and the wife lived in North Miami Beach, and they had just had a baby girl. Angelina explained the situation to her. The new mother responded, "Look at this beautiful baby. I can't imagine anyone hurting her." So that was all she needed to hear. The months passed. It was a generally easy pregnancy. Finally, the day arrived. They went to St. Francis Hospital on Allison Island, where the nurses were nuns. Cap was a non-practicing Jewish person, so they didn't go to Mount Sinai Hospital. Angelina was a sturdy, active woman, so the birth was very easy. It was a 10-pound girl. She looked like Cap. Angelina was thrilled, but Cap could not accept the situation, and his moods grew worse. Angelina's brother Joseph, the singing guitar player, moved into the same building as they lived in. This was a family that helped each other. One day, Angelina and the baby came back from a stroll. She was shocked to find all her belongings placed outside of their apartment door. A neighbor saw this and said to her, "Lady, call the police. You have a right to be there." She didn't want to do that, so she went down the hall to her brother's apartment and said, "Cap locked us out of the apartment." It didn't take long for Colegero, Angelina's brother, to solve the problem. He bought a property with eight apartments, one-bedroom apartments, and it was about 2 blocks away from their apartment and 1 block from the marina where Cap worked part-time. The plan was to make Angelina the manager of the apartment building and provide her and her daughter with their own apartment and everything else. Colegero had become successful in Manhattan as owner of a music store where guitars, pianos, accordions, reeds, and any other instrument one could think of were sold. Angelina would, of course, have a salary also. They never ever divorced, and Cap would stop by from time to time with a present for his daughter. But they never got back together. Once he took them out to eat at M&M's cafeteria in downtown Miami. Years passed, and all the chemicals that Cap had been exposed to as a special mechanic in World War I caught up with him. He had a tumor growing on his left cerebrum, one that interferes with normal emotions, actually causing apathy. It did not cause his death, but a burst gallbladder did in 1968 when he was 1 month away from age 70. Angelina retired to New Jersey and worked as a school crossing guard for many years. She passed away peacefully at age 90. Their daughter became a nurse and the unofficial historian of the family. Once she asked a friend why she was the only one in her extended family who cared about family history, and he replied, "Because you only need one."